Hey everybody, welcome to another Sunday live stream. Hey everybody, welcome to another Sunday live stream. Yep, just getting settled in here. You guys a few different shots, got a few different cameras, different setup today. Yep, just due to the wind. Yes, that's why I got to turn up my different setup. Getting used to the new setup. But as you can see, it is pretty rough out there today. This, I'm sure, is from the weather you all are getting up there in the Northeast. It does not seem pretty at all. And I guess I'll take this over a foot of snow in New York, right? And so this actually started, this weather that started from last night. It actually started getting, you heard the wind howling like crazy. But now you're actually seeing the rough seas. Saw it from earlier this morning. Let's switch back over to me. There we go. Got a little bit of a different setup here, so just kind of getting used to it. So today we have a short agenda. Just want to, of course, the drill in the news, talk about a few things that happen in regards to what's happening here. Of course, updating things that are happening with the channel, and a few videos that are coming that I'll be doing, or should I say, filming in the next few weeks. Actually, making a big push for real estate in 2022 because it seems like a very, very big topic of interest from everybody on the channel, and so I really want to hone in on that and share as much information and value as I possibly can as it relates to real estate here in Jamaica. And we're definitely going to be moving out of Negril. And as much as an advocate as I am for Negril, I think it's important that we bring a lot of context to the table as to what is actually out there, what is available, and bring just a larger or greater understanding of the real estate market throughout Jamaica so we can accurately compare and contrast here and grow. Just want to take the time and opportunity to welcome everybody to the live stream. Let me know where everybody is chiming in from. I love hearing where you are from, knowing about your hometowns, your home cities. And so just go ahead and throw that in the comments and let me know where you're coming from. Happy Sunday to you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you for chiming in. And for those just coming in, I was just mentioning a little bit about the weather that we're having here. And as you can see, we have some rough seas and super windy out there, and why we move on the inside, which is not that big of a deal. I'm happy I'm able to give a little bit of visual insight into what's going on the beach. So we're actually having a lot of seaweed come in. This is what happens when you get these nor'easters. There's a lot of winds and a lot of seaweed, a lot of rough seas. These usually last 2 to 3 days. And like that, it'll hopefully start calming down this evening tomorrow. And of course, the guests who we have here at the hotel and who are visiting here in the grill, they'd much rather be in the water than looking at the rough sea. So it's a little dangerous, of course. We don't want people jumping in there and getting pulled out. Although you do not normally have rip currents, but you never know. It's Mother Nature. You can't really predict these things. Anyway, some other news with the channel. Thank you, Meryl. I am fully recovered, fully 100% recovered. But I actually had some not knee surgery. I had some injections done on my knee yesterday, PRP. I forget what it stands for, but basically I have a grade 2 tear in my left knee, in my patella ligament, and I was looking at getting cortisone shot in there to help me through recovery and to ease the pain that my knee is suffering. But the cortisone shots don't normally last. They don't last. It's just kind of a quick fix to get you going. but I instead decided to go with PRP shot, which again I don't remember what it stands for, but essentially it takes your own blood and plasma that's in your body already and uses it to help you heal. So yesterday I got this done in South Lamar here in Westmoreland, which is about 30, 40 minutes away from the grill. And they basically drew a bunch of blood from me, put it in a centrifuge, and spun out and separated um, plasma on top, blood on the bottom, and then they took the plasma and then injected it into my knee in several spots. And so essentially it's supposed to give me more of a long-term, it's better long-term, and it actually helps the knee heal as opposed to the cortisone where they're just kind of injecting drugs in you to make it feel better. But cortisone doesn't actually heal the knee, whereas this does. And so I thought that was pretty cool getting that done here in Jamaica. I actually have a friend who's looking into getting PRP shots in his knee, and he's in New York, one of my best friends, and he told me he has to pay $1,500. I will actually find out the final cost for everybody and let you know how much it is, but it's definitely not anywhere close to that. If it's couple $100, I would actually be very, very surprised. But I will get back to you and let everybody know. But I thought it was just something to share in terms of the understanding of the medical treatment options that we have down here, and using myself as an example. So I will further share that, and I documented the whole thing. So I plan on sharing that video or that experience that I had yesterday getting this PRP shot in my knee, hopefully this week. It's actually pretty painful just to walk around. I should have crutches, but I don't. So I'm just basically hobbling around, which is okay, a little annoying. But once I fully heal, then I want to share the results and hopefully the success story of my knee coming back. But it's going to be definitely be a few more days until I can walk properly. So again, welcome everybody to the live stream. I've got the UK in the house. Rocco and Lori, welcome again. Thank you for joining. Kingston 16, checking in from Palm Springs, California. Welcome to the live stream. Rocco says, stay away from Rockefeller Farmer snake oil. Not sure what that means, but I will stay away from, I'm trying to stay as much as possible away from taking any drugs. I'm actually taking some Tylenol, some painkillers for my knee, but that's about it. Afternoon from Boston. I'm actually wearing my Boston Marathon jumper today. Windbreaker. That's actually super breezy here, so I'm happy to have this. Florida in the house. Welcome, Noble Girl. All right, got 39 people here. Cool. Welcome, everybody. Let's switch over to what's happening on the beach there. Got some rough seas. As you know, it's usually like a lake out there. It's usually super calm, but today is a different story. Welcome. Boston in the house. Awesome. Boston strong today. All right, let's get into the first agenda item. Let's not hold it up. Let's not hold the show up. So, actually, this is a new one. I had some other agenda items, but today we will go into, forget the other article that I had. Anyway, we'll start with this. So, I actually had a protest here in Negril yesterday. I'm not sure if everyone is aware. We do have what would I say, a vehicle or traffic control issue in Negril. And if you've been here before, you can kind of understand that in terms of people speeding on the roads. And we've been putting in measures to counteract this over the last, I would say, maybe 5 years or so. And unfortunately, over the years, we have lost many of our workers, civilians, community members due to road fatalities, and that's both as drivers and pedestrians. And Negril, in the Negril strip, certain parts of it. One part in particular, actually here, like kind of in front of travelers, it was actually deemed one of the most dangerous strips of road in all of Jamaica, one of the top 10 most dangerous strips of road because of the frequency of fatal and near fatal car accidents that we have here. And again, over the years, there have been measures put in place to subdue this as much as possible, slow down drivers. And two of the biggest ones that we've had so far are we have medians in the middle of the road. So we have four of those. So they narrow the road. They're supposed to be reflectors and signs. Hopefully, the idea is to slow drivers down as they approach these medians, and then also discourage overtaking at these particular points on the road. But of course, that doesn't happen a lot of the time, even with these medians in place. On top of that, we have stoplights as well. I believe we have four stoplights, and those are in place really to help with pedestrians. And I guess when they do work in terms of like when a pedestrian is there, they do work in that sense. Like you have a pedestrian there, they push the walk button, and the light turns red in order to have them cross. So that was a positive as well. So those were the two previous implementations to help slow down traffic on the Norman Manley Beach Road. And the last one that they put in are these rumble strips. So these rumble strips went in late last year, as a matter of fact. And they've been strategically placed along Norman Manley Boulevard, again, to help slow down traffic. And to me, these rumble strips actually, this is what I've actually been fighting for years and years. They have them in Montego Bay. That was the first place in Jamaica that I've seen them. I'm sure they're in other places in the island. And I always ask, why don't we have rumble strips in the Negril? Because of the frequency of accidents that have happened and the lives that have been lost here. And they finally put that in. And to me, that has really slowed down traffic. I don't know, and I could be wrong here. I don't know of any fatal accidents that have, and there could be. This is just me again. I don't know of any fatal car accidents that we've had on the Negril Strip. No, that's not true. I do know of one. It was pedestrian and security. But I would venture to say that these things are working. They're slowing down the traffic and really helping to stop these accidents from happening. And it's really the speed, that is like the number one, is really having the speed. And so fast forwarding to yesterday, the NWA, the National Works Agency, came back to Negril, and they were actually installing another set. I don't know where or what the idea or thinking was behind the sets that they were putting in, but people had a real issue with that, with adding, when I say people, I should say taxi drivers had a real issue with the new ones that they put in, and their basically complaint, I would say, is their complaint essentially is that they are what is it from? Yeah, what is it from? Let's see. Let's change mics. I'm gonna change mics here and see if that helps a bit. Sorry about that. 1 second. Let me get that mic. All right. Let me know. Is this any better? I switched mics. Let me know if that's any better with the audio. I'm gonna keep talking. Oh, it's the background noise. I see. Yeah, there's a lot of people behind me. Okay, let me see if I can move and see if that. Sorry. Okay. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. I'm inside and there are just a few guests here enjoying the restaurant, so don't want to stop her for that. Okay, back to the discussion about the rumble strips. So with the rumble strips, what they did was they were trying to they were adding a bunch of these things, and the issue that the taxi drivers have is that these rumble strips are apparently destroying their cars, and it's costing them more money maintenance because they I guess they're rumble strips, right? So it's just putting more wear and tear on their vehicles, and so that is kind of understandable from their perspective, but it definitely does help. It definitely does help in terms of like saving lives and everything like that. The only thing is that we have to. It seems like we have to come up with a happy medium in terms of figuring out how do we protect lives and save lives, but at the same time, not cost these guys extra maintenance costs on their vehicles. And it's a hard discussion, right? I don't have a solution with that. It's a hard thing to it's a hard thing to figure out because there's no doubt that these rumble strips are saving lives. There's no doubt that it's slowing down traffic. And I don't know if everyone is aware that Westmoreland is the number we have a huge bike problem. And so we have the number one amount of fatalities and injuries as it relates to motorcycle accidents. And it's the young guys on the bikes. They don't wear helmets. They're speeding, and super unfortunate. They're getting either really, really badly hurt or they're losing their lives. And so, in turn, what does that do? That puts an incredible financial strain and just actually overall strain, not just financial strain, but on the healthcare system. And so, with now and COVID, just like anywhere else in the world, it's like the worst time to go to a hospital. Not only for COVID, but also if you have other injuries or for an emergency or anything of that nature. And so, the same thing down here. And when you have the main hospital in Westmoreland is South London Hospital, which is again 40 minutes or so away from Negril. And when you have COVID ward, and then you have just all these bike accidents that are happening that I think honestly can really be avoided by slowing things down, particularly here on the Negril strip and implementing these rumble strips, then it really takes that strain off the hospital. And I mean, it's hard to understand in terms of if you're a day-to-day taxi driver and that's how you make your living. Of course, all you're thinking about is your struts on your car, or the wheels, or the tires, or whatever it is, and that's what you're focused on because that's immediately hurting your pockets. But in the greater, big picture, big spectrum, from a societal standpoint, there are much better, there are much more or grander implications. So again, I don't necessarily have a solution to this, but I know that it needs a lot more. And what we can come up with the community to accomplish both not having a situation where our taxi drivers here are spending extra money on maintenance of their vehicle, and then to continue to save lives through slowing down the traffic. And I'm sure there is a solution. I'm sure we're not the first community that has to deal with this balancing. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of everybody. And if you have any questions on that or any comments, please let me know. I'm going to move over to the comments and see what we have going on here. Down real quick. And let's back to the rough seas. And switch over to all right. This is me. This is the inside version because of the rough seas. We're here on the inside and doing our best under these circumstances. So let's hop over to the comments here. Yeah, sorry, getting some complaints about the audio. I'm doing the best I possibly can. Again, usually we're outside and have a little less noise, but everybody's inside because of the rough seas. and also because it can't be outside at this time. So please bear with me just for today. But just continue to let me know if you just completely can't understand me. Let me know, and I'll do my best to try and make further adjustments. Sorry again for the background noise and the muffled mic. I will continue to push through. All right, Sophia says, I agree with slowing down the traffic on the roads. Yeah, definitely important, super important. Let's see. Out of many, welcome. When will you visit? Says, good morning, what's up? I love watching your vlogs. When will you invite Jessica Cargill on your show? I don't know. Gotta reach out to her. There's so many Jamaican YouTubers that I actually want to have come on. I'm super excited to start working with them. I actually reached out to one of them. I won't say who, but we definitely decided that we're going to do a collaboration. So have them come on the podcast, and then I'll probably do a vlog with them. So I'll leave it as a surprise. Won't say who, but in the next few weeks we'll be figuring that out. So super excited. Wendy Lou, hi there. Hope you're feeling back to normal. Holy waves, yes, holy waves for sure. And I am back to normal. Thank you all for your concern, and thank you so much for asking how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good over here. Fully back. Actually started training last week again, but then I got this injection in my knee, and so I won't be doing any training for hopefully by this weekend, I'll be able to start training again. But right now, I can barely walk, so I'm actually hobbling around. But thank you again for your concern. All right, let's switch back to the ocean now. And of course, let me know if you guys have any questions. Like throw them in the comment section. More than happy to answer any questions that you have. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the normal trips. It could be on anything Jamaican, anything Negril. I'm more than happy to answer them and as best as I possibly can. Rocco and Lori says Jamaicans are excellent drivers. I'm glad most tourists don't drive when they visit Jamaica. Yeah, the Jamaican drivers are excellent until they're not. I just wish they would slow down a little bit. That's my gripe with anything. It's just like as cliche as it sounds, speed kills, and just would want them to slow down, preserve life, preserve their own individual well-being. So yeah, I do. In general, yes, I do agree. Jamaicans are good. Just need to slow down. They says the safety of pedestrians is very great concern all over the island. Unfortunately, while taxis are providing a service, it is more about a rush to make money. I've seen and experienced this. Yeah, that is true. Again, it's just speeding in general is it's just the problem down here, and you really do, whether you're a tourist or anybody who's on the road, you just have to be a defensive driver down here, and just kind of just have to be super aware of that and where you're surrounding when you are driving, because again, it's just the speedway, and it used to be, and particularly here on Norman Boulevard in Negril, like it used to be literally like Daytona 500 without the medians, without the speed ramps, the rumble strips, excuse me, without the crossing lights, and so traffic has really slowed down a lot here, and it's an inconvenience in terms of what we were used to, but I think eventually we're going to get used to this, and this is not going to be that big of a deal anymore. And it's just going to take some time for us to continue to get used to get used to the slowing down. It takes me a few more minutes. Sometimes it used to take me 10 minutes to get from home to work. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. Doubling my commute. I'm not complaining though. I take it easy. I understand it's just a new day and a new grill in terms of that. So this is going to have to continue to be an adjustment teething process at this point in time. So it's going to take some time. And right now, they actually, in regards to the National Works Agency putting down the rest of the rumble strips, they actually put it on pause because there was demonstrations yesterday, and actually I'm not sure who did it, but I believe it was some drivers. They blocked the road with trees and some old appliances, and it was completely blocked off to stop them. And of course, NWA did the best thing. They don't want any, obviously, they don't want any trouble, so they stopped until the situation is resolved. I don't think they're going to do any more runners for right now. Although, they're necessary. They're still necessary. Hedonistic runner. How would you compare the emergency medical services in Jamaica to the U.S.? Ooh, that's a tough question in the sense that it's obviously very, very different, and then I also feel very, very different across the what I say across the island. Like you are going to get better medical treatment in private hospitals, obviously, and you're probably going to get better medical treatment in hospitals in Kingston and Montego Bay as opposed to here in South Lamar. Unfortunately, it's one of the it's not my it's not opinion, but it's one of the worst hospitals in Jamaica for a multitude of reasons. It's lacking a tremendous amount of resources, and it needs a tremendous amount of help. And so, having an emergency here is a little scary. I'm not gonna lie, especially when it comes to if you have like a car accident or something like that. And I've had not that happened to me, but I've had really bad experiences with other people that we know of, and it's not something that you want. That's why I do drive a little fast. I'm not gonna lie, but I try to be as careful as humanly possible. And I tell people, it's just, man, you don't really want to go to the hospital here. Jamaicans are otherwise. You don't want to go to the hospital, and you just want to get to your destination safely. No texting and driving, and try to just lower the risk as much as possible. And as I mentioned before, defensive driving is just a big recommendation of mine as you go through here. In general, the U.S. emergency medical care is going to obviously be a lot better here, quite better there, than here. We do have a hospital that's being built here. I'm almost certain it's a private hospital, and that's being done by Dr. Foster. And I'm going to actually reach out to him to actually try and have him on the podcast and learn a little bit more about the hospital. And I know medical services is something that a lot of subscribers are curious about, and I too don't know it that well. I just know from my experience, as I was especially with my experience yesterday, but also that is the experience of other people and hearing what they went through. But in general, we do have good medical care here. It's not like this is like a third world situation in terms of medical treatment here, and I've had many medical treatments here as a runner. Even with my dad as well. So it's not like you're fending for yourself out here. You have very bright, smart doctors. You have good medical equipment. You may not have everything in the part of the island that you're from. So, for example, a lot of the time, especially dealing with my knee and my ankle, I've had to go to Montego Bay. It's an hour and a half drive from Negril, but that just is what it is. And I go there. They have first world care there, MRI machines, you name it. I can get any. So I do know very smart doctors and very smart surgeons who are here that went to the best medical schools and have chosen to practice here. And so I don't have any doubt that if you get certain procedures done here, you'll be more than okay. You'll be more than okay. So that's kind of my roundabout take on the emergency medical situation here. And again, as I said, as soon as I can have the opportunity, I'll have Dr. Foster on, who is actually working our building the brand new hospital. It will be, I guess, the newest hospital in Jamaica. Thomas says many Jamaicans drive at one speed, and that's fast. Right. Hey, Lisa, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining. Little girl asked, what is the curfew time? It's the same, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Nothing, as far as I know, nothing has changed in regards to that. Damian Redmond says tourists don't drive in Jamaica because they're afraid of recklessness of Jamaican drivers. We do. There, I wouldn't say that. At least here in the grill, there are quite a few tourists that do drive here. They either rent cars or even mopeds, which I highly recommend against. As a matter of fact, it's just too crazy. I know people that come down here. I know somebody who's actually a tourist who comes here every year, spends months here. He actually bought a bike, has a friend who keeps it, and then when he comes down, he uses it. And so there are still a lot of people who are on mopeds, who are on motorcycles, who rent cars, and they get around that way. And so there are many of them. Okay, got a little controversy here. King Spotlight. Jamaicans are the worst drivers on the planet. On planet Neptune. Jamaican has the highest road fatalities in the Americas with an average of 1,000 per year, which is 30 per 100,000 since 1992. King Spotlight with the facts, always coming with his receipts here. I don't doubt those statistics. I mean, we have, I don't think, is it 1,000 per year? That seems like a lot. 1,000 per year. 1,000 road fatalities per year. I thought we were in the hundreds, but I could be sadly mistaken. But I know we have a lot of road fatalities, and I think that that is to me that's one of the biggest problems in Jamaica as a whole is like these road fatalities. And like I said before, if say taking King Spotlight's statistics as fact here, if we have 1,000 deaths, imagine how many near fatal accidents that are, people losing legs, breaking their bodies up in these accidents with that 1,000. I'm sure there's a general ratio that we can use in regards to that, but if there are 1,000 deaths, I mean, there's probably, I would venture to guess, at least 3,000, 5,000, maybe even more near death are situations where people are in the hospital because of just general car accidents. And again, just think of the strain that has on the healthcare system. Damien Redmond says emergency medical services don't exist in Jamaica. Let's be real. No, that's not true. That's not necessarily true. I think, again, the care, it's very, it depends on where you are on the island. Like I said, South Lamar Hospital, it's unfortunately one of, not so good hospitals that we have all throughout Jamaica. But if you go to, say, Hopkinton in Montego Bay, which is a brand new medical facility with, all the first world accoutrements that you can think of, you're going to get a very different situation, a very different experience there. And so it's there. We do have it, but it again depends on where you're going and where your accident happens. We have ambulances. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't have the supplies that are needed for the ambulance, but they are there. We have medical professionals working these ambulances and in the emergency rooms, but it wouldn't be, again, fair to compare them to the United States. Very, very different. Hey, Harren, thanks for joining. Sharon, we're trying to look from UK, England. Good evening, all. We also had storms in Scotland and northeast of the strong winds tearing down trees. Oh, wow. Some areas no power for the past 2 days. We expect heavy rain at some point. Oh, wow. I guess we're feeling this all over the world. All right. Damien says. What's this one? Sorry. Yeah, Chin, I'm not sure if you're a bot, but yeah, you keep sending. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. 1 second. Thank you for pointing this out. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we have a good Chin there. She's taking up the comments. right, chin is gone. Damien, all right, back to your question. What do you think of the brewing bank fees controversy? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. I will reserve my comments and look more into that. Elvis, hi. Currently, Westmoreland seems to have a higher than normal crime rate. How is this affecting the grill? It's not really affecting the grill as far as commerce goes and as far as safety goes, as far as I'm aware. Yes, the most of that is happening in the South Lamar area, not here in the grill, fortunately, in some sense. And again, to my knowledge, it has not affected business here. I haven't heard of like any uptick in crime or anything like that happening in the grill area, just in the South. Ocean Greatest, how is the family, especially your dad? Yes, everybody's okay. Thank you for asking. Family is good. Family is doing well. Thank you for asking. All right, Kenny Milroy says Jamaican drivers need to put their phones down when driving. Calls and texts people. And you know another thing that I've been thinking as well. This is just like my own anecdote here of what what I think is also a possible issue. And so recently, I started wearing glasses. I got tested in February, March, and I think people who wear glasses will appreciate what I said, what I'm about to say. And so I have contacts in now. But up until that point, I thought my vision was perfectly okay. Like the only thing that I would say that was happening that I did notice is like if I was staring at my computer screen for a long time, I would get a headache. But I just thought it was just from staring at the computer screen. And I was just wondering, I was like, how many other people who are out there in Jamaica who are drivers, taxi drivers, regular drivers, taxi drivers, who are not getting their eyes tested? And I think that's a big thing because I notice a huge difference when I'm driving without contact or without my glasses that I just can't see that anymore. So that's one thing that I was thinking with drivers and are they getting tested? And I know a lot of insurance policies don't come with dental and eye included. And so we're lucky enough to have that here at Travelers, but it just got just kind of got me thinking with my initial experience and if you're on the road and that is your how you make money, you got to get your eyes tested to make sure that they're good. And I feel like that is something that also as a country that we need to look more into because I see some drivers who are like looking at their phones and they're squinting and I'm like, wow, this is very concerning. And they're not wearing glasses, so it just makes me think, hey, when was the last time you got tested? And they're much older than me as well. When was the last time you got tested for glasses or got your eyes tested just to make sure that the safety for your safety and the safety of your passengers. So I also think that is something to look into. My little anecdote, no evidence to think that what I'm saying has any merit, but just something that I have observed myself through my own experience, and then also seeing certain drivers struggle looking at their phones. Oh, sorry. It seems like the service is poor here. I'm just seeing the comments. Yeah, today's I guess a bad day with technology. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe you're not seeing me. Sorry, we're having a tough time today. I don't know if it's weather related or not, but I really apologize for that. I'm just going to try to muscle through as much as I possibly can. And hopefully you're hearing me okay, and you can hear me respond to the comments. We got this one. Phones, Arlene Bolden says, "Why is customer service so poor in Jamaica?" I think again, this just like with the hospitals, it depends where you're going. So, for example, you can go to one restaurant in the grill that maybe a startup or a cook shop. But if you go to another restaurant that is well established and been here for years, I'm sure you're going to get first world service in the sense of what you may be used to, saying like a New York restaurant. Like you do have that for sure. There are many restaurants that have great food, great service, polite, friendly staff that love their job and love what they're doing. I think we have many staff here in Travelers that really love their job and have been with us for over 10 years and offer the best service that they possibly can. So I think it's very it depends on where you go. Um, if you want to talk about government services, that's a whole different thing. We can get into that, but I don't know of any country that has good government service. Like when I think government service, like the first thing I'm thinking is as a New Yorker is a DMV, and it's like that's the last place that I want to go. Sorry if anybody works in the DMV in New York, but man, you ain't exactly getting the best service there either. So again, I think it depends on where you go, what establishments that you're visiting. But I think that there are excellent services in Jamaica that do have good service. But yes, there are places that with poor service. There are definitely places with poor service, and I have experienced that here, and I probably won't go back to those places in particular. Banking. Talk about banking service. I've spoken about this many times before. It takes a very long time to do banking here in Jamaica, and that's just a fact. It's not like when you compare it to say like the U.S. Like usually maybe making a deposit in New York maybe take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Here, a deposit can take well over an hour easily. Like no exaggeration whatsoever. So in that sense, is that bad service? Yeah, I think at least as far as what I'm used to. As to why that's happening, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why this is in particular. All right, another comment from Arlene. Would love to move back home. The service is a turn off. Again, I think it depends on what service that you're speaking to and what you're looking for, Arlene, and what you're used to. But I think there are great services here, and yeah, it's a different country, and if that is something that you are not willing to say give up, in a sense that this is not New York. Like, no matter how you slice it or even how you dice it, I'm saying New York from New York. I grew up there, and so I know being down here, I'm not gonna go as I said before. I'm not gonna go to the bank and make a deposit and be in and out 10, 15 minutes. That's just not what it is here. And so my mind, I just shift my mindset. But then, like when you look on the opposite side, all right, what do you? Yeah, I'm giving up these conveniences, but what am I getting in return for that? What am I getting? What am I giving up? What am I giving up, and what am I getting in return? And to me, you have to ask yourself that question. Are you getting a much better weather? Like there's a snowstorm in New York right now. Yeah, I'd rather be in Jamaica than be in New York right now, even with the greatest services that they have there. Um, I am definitely slower pace, peace of mind, cost of living is much lower here. I have my own network of friends down here. There is road trips that I've been taking around the islands, amazing food. And I can go on and on. Real estate opportunities, investment opportunities. And so I think that's the kind of question that you have to ask yourself. And if you're coming in with a mindset saying like, are you thinking of how can I change the system? That's exactly the mindset that I came in because when I first moved here 15 years ago, because there were so many inefficiencies that I noticed that there are better ways of doing it. But when I finally understood like I'm going to change it and I'm going to embrace it, that's when I really started enjoying Jamaica for what it was and what it is. And so that would be my best advice. Like, if you're just not going to change it, plain and simple. It's just you got to just make a decision in your mind when you ask yourself these questions. Line guy is right for life. Right, I'm always here for the good vibes for the smoke, but the post from Chin are distracting. Amy, Chiefs or Bengals? Honestly, I haven't been keeping up with football at all, and I'm just the biggest football fan. So, but anyway, I love Patrick Mahomes, so we're gonna go with the Chiefs. I hope they have it. And he says, my grandpa was a firefighter, the one of the public servants besides cops that renders emergency medical services. Yeah, that's right. So even here in the Negril, there was a period of time where they didn't have an ambulance, and so all we did was rely on the fire department, and they were the emergency medical services for us. And so yeah, big up to your grandpa for that because they do more than just fight fires. Arlene, Scott, big up Margaret, for helping my family with real estate question. Awesome, awesome. Happy that you were able to connect with Margaret. Aaron says, Scott, do you think the installation of speed bumps on Northern Valley Boulevard will help in the reduction of accidents on the stretch of road? Yeah, I kind of addressed this earlier. Definitely, like it's been implemented for a little less than a year now, and it has definitely slowed things down. And again, I think saved a lot of lives. I think it's been installed maybe about I want to say 6 7 months at this point, and so it has definitely saved lives. And I think as I continue to implement and install more, it's going to keep doing that if we can come to an agreement with the taxi drivers. Hopefully, get some a little bit understanding on both sides. But yeah, absolutely. It's going to have to be the same. Yes, I'm feeling so much better this week. Thank you, Shannon, for asking. So much better. Fully healed, fully back. Dave says Jamaica is an ideal place for all types of transportation, bicycle, moped, car, but the nature of most drivers ruin it. Hope it will change though. Yeah, I agree. Kind of going back to my statement before, like it's just speed kills. Can't say that enough. I think if we can have just more, I would say, defensive driving. I don't know. I'm sure we have defensive driving courses here, but somehow make it a little bit more mandatory and a little bit more regular. I think that would help with getting people to slow down a little bit. If we kind of develop this mentality of saving lives and being safe as drivers, that would help out a lot. Damian Redmond says, "How do you think we can get financial literacy and SAT prep out of the school curriculum in Jamaica?" Man, there isn't even financial literacy in American schools. At least I didn't grow up with financial literacy. I don't know if that's becoming more of a norm in the American curriculum. I know it's not in New York. I didn't get any financial literacy until I was going to say college, but that was more finance, like corporate finance. But my personal financial literacy came from my dad, and also my own research and reading my own books. But definitely not from school. That's for sure. But I think it would be great to have that implemented here in Jamaica and really take that on as a priority. And I think it should be in all school curriculums, like right across the board. And it's just mind-boggling that financial literacy is not there. As far as SAT prep, I don't know too much about that. Obviously, people do take the SATs when they want to go to American schools. I don't know much about the preparation process in that, and I don't think it's part of the. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's part of the standard curriculum here, and more than likely, you're probably going to need to get a private tutor to help prepare for SATs in Jamaica. I think the first step with that is really making it more normalized for students to go to college. I think before we start prepping for SATs, I think we need to change that mindset. Although we say it, we want our kids and we want our students to go to college, but when you look at how the infrastructure is set up here in Jamaica, no kid, the average Jamaican kid cannot afford to go to college. Like I won't say it's obviously not impossible because many people are doing it, but it's very, very challenging for the average Jamaican to go to college, even if you have good grades, even if you do well. But if you're coming from a family that does not come from it, and I guess this is the same thing in the United States, but nonetheless, it's probably exacerbated even worse here in Jamaica. It's a hard and really tough road, and we don't have a fast for our grants. These federal we don't have a federal loan system here in Jamaica. As far as I know, a student loan, as far as I know, I don't think that exists, and I know most students have a very, very hard time finding the finances to go to college if they want to. And many of them end up working and trying to save up to go to college, and unfortunately, many times they go into these careers and they just kind of continue to go down into these careers, and they lose sight of their long-term journey going to college and just focus on it. But I think, I'm an advocate for that. I agree with the opinion. I think both of those should be part of the careers. Thank you, Foxy Lady. Is there a storm in Jamaica? Yes, there is a storm here. It's like I wouldn't say storm. It's like a weather pattern that's moving through like northeast. They're coming from, I guess, up north. What you guys are experiencing, we're getting a little bit of that, and that's what's really causing the rough seas that you're seeing. Happy Sunday, Negril. Let me try and speed through these a little bit. I don't miss anybody. Yes, the grill is definitely a rough one today. He says, I think it's a generational thing with customer service. Younger people usually don't care. No, there's been bad service in Jamaica since I was a younger person, and I mean, even I would say it's actually I can speak for Negril. I think the service in Negril has gotten. I'm not speaking particularly specifically with restaurant service. It's gotten so much better in the last 15, 20 years since I've been back here, and I think what my prognosis is like I think it's been elevated because competition has come up, and it's kind of no longer acceptable to wait for an hour for food. Like you'll very rare, even in the smallest of corners of restaurants, you're going to find a place where you're going to sit there and wait for an hour. That is no longer the norm here in the world, and it's just outrageous. But like, it's outrageous if that does happen. But again, back in the day when I first moved here, I mean, most restaurants you're going to be waiting there for a while. It really was a super island kind of situation. And now, again, I think because the competition has increased so much in the grill, people know that is just no longer acceptable. So it's gotten better and better. And this is speaking specifically in restaurant service. Hello from Canada, welcome. China says, I recently watched an interview on Sanal YouTube channel. Great interview. Thank you for watching any of her channels. Our bride, Selvin's Kitchen, welcome. Thank you for joining. I always appreciate your presence. Ocean Gray, can you pause for a minute and salute the Jamaican bobsled team for qualifying? Definitely. Round of applause for them. I think that's pretty awesome. Marco and Lori, are Jamaicans starting to rally against the mandates like Canada? No, I think no. And we don't. I feel like your mandates and your lockdowns are far more severe than it is here, and so we don't really. I mean, we have obviously the curfew. Somebody asked about that earlier. So we have our curfew, which I think people are abiding by. I'm not really out that late to see physically, but I know our team here. We make sure that they get home. We're still doing our rides for our team members home because we close at 9:30 and they have them by the time that they have to get home. It would be impossible. So we make sure that we have our team members arrive home. And so no, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, I should say there are no one are groups of people who are protesting these type of mandates. Everybody's doing their best to be safe, wear masks, social distance, sanitize, etc. It's kind of just it was that people were very annoyed by it, but I think just everybody was very interested at this point. All right, got another comment here Damien, that's actually real. I never understood why Jamaican parents put so much emphasis on CHC results when it's not taken anywhere else in the world other than the Caribbean. The majority wants to migrate to the U.S. Yeah, CC is definitely everybody is concerned about that here. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to go to or not thinking about going to U.S. schools, but obviously you need to. Obviously, you need to have the SATs in order to go to an American school, but maybe also they don't have the can't afford to do the private tutoring, the SAT. So that's something to think about. But you're right. CHC is definitely like the biggest talk of the town, especially amongst like staff members and their kids when they're prepping for it. It's like a huge deal. Shama says, agree. Jamaican have bright students. Excuse me. Unfortunately, after they graduate, the opportunity slims for them to continue to elevate. Yeah, it's tough. Really tough for students to get to their tertiary education, and they need a lot of outside help. Neil says, I think we're having a cold front. Very windy hearing these things since early this morning, about 3 a.m. The beach looks rough. No swimming today. Absolutely no swimming. There's not even a soul in the water right now. Everybody's just kind of watching. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure most people are by the pool here, travelers, rather than here on the restaurant deck. Howard asks, what cuisine is offered at travelers? We have a mixed bag, definitely heavy on Jamaican cuisine. So we always serve Jamaican breakfast every morning, which is usually, as long as we can get it, ackee and sausage, scallops, we fry them. Boiled yam, boiled banana, and also boiled butter as well. That's usually the staple that people like to get. And then, of course, we have like American breakfast, like pancakes, French toast, eggs, bacon, all that sort of stuff. And as far as like lunch and dinner menu, I would say probably geared more American style. So you have, chicken wrap, fish wraps for lunch, sandwiches, and then on the Jamaican side, we got brown stew chicken, curry chicken any style essentially, and then escovitch fish, fillet or whole fish. Just kind of going off my head here. Fillet or whole fish, and the brown stew as well. And then dinner, we have some Italian, like pastas. We have different pastas. So popular dishes, chicken Alfredo pasta. I love that. Even though it kills my stomach, so I have that probably once every 2 months maybe. If I get into temptation. And then also another one of my favorite meals is chicken vegetable stir fry with rice and peas. That's probably my favorite and the best selling dish for dinner and also lunch. I guess I would say is our coconut shrimp, which is very good. Everybody loves coconut shrimp. Let's see here. Donna says, thanks for your channel. Glad you have it covered. Being domesticated, most people of color teach their children to get a good education, to get a good job. Ownership is key to liberation. Yeah, ownership is very important. That was as close to your father. Thank you, Donna. And then Shayna says, when can we expect another interview with your dad? I don't know. We're going to ask him. We'll try and get him on soon. And we'll do like a proper podcast instead of a live. Yeah, I think that definitely do that. All right, got through all the comments here. Hope you guys are hearing. We're just about an hour here, just about an hour. You guys are hearing me okay, and the audio kind of a little bit better. Folks that were here and making the noise in the background, they have exited stage left, and it's just me and you all. All right, let's hop over. Let's see if we have no other articles. This is it. I was trying to get another economic article, econ article, but can't bring it up right now. I'm going to say that for next week's live stream. I hope everybody was able to read the article that I put on the community page. I thought it was super interesting. We had a long discussion on it in last week's live. So feel free to to read that. That's on the community page. And when I find the other econ article on Jamaica, I will also post that and definitely do a discussion on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll have better weather than we're having today, and we can go back outside and the sun will be shining next week. Then there's another question. Do you think the government will ever that implementing policy is more important to crime prevention than Zozo and divine intervention? Um, yeah, obviously. I mean, I think everybody understands that the Zozo is really like a band-aid that's put on to alleviate the problem immediately. I don't think it's a long-term solution. At least I don't think the government is thinking that. And yes, policy is definitely more important than putting these band-aids on. And I don't think they're looking at it as a long-term solution. To me, the long-term solution, particularly with crime, is education. And we really need to think from a government standpoint, but more on a community, local government standpoint, that education is the key, and thinking long term and think in terms of 20, 30 years down the line, as opposed to 5 years. And I'm not saying that there are people, our leadership is thinking like that, but I think as a country, we need to start thinking in terms of decades instead of years, and really investing in education in all facets. We were just having a discussion about CXCs and SATs and the inability of our young people to afford to go to college here in Jamaica. And so when I say invest in education, that's one of the main ways that I'm talking about, and especially when we talk about just the young people. When I say young people, like even from basic school, toddlers, all coming all the way up, that needs to be invested in heavily. And I, more than anything else, think that that is the long-term solution. Can't see any other way. Can't see any other way. Like, if we don't have an educated society, a high literacy rate society, and also create opportunity, because those young people are the ones who are going to create opportunities for themselves and their peers. And if we're not educating them and we're not getting them to school, tertiary education, tertiary school, and in mass levels and mass droves, then you can forget about it. It's not gonna work out. I do think there is improvement being had and being made, but I would love to see it at a much greater rate than it is right now. And a couple of weeks ago, I think we were talking about the lack of a high school in Negril. It's simple things like that. Why do our students have to travel 40 minutes to get to the nearest high school? And so that is like that again is another example of the importance of investing in our students, investing in our young people, investing in our schools, and investing in education. And so we definitely need things of that nature. And then when you go to certain schools and you look at the infrastructure, you look at how the classrooms are set up, you look at the overcrowdedness in the school, it's a very, very difficult learning environment. And it really does, I'm not saying everywhere, but certain schools, it really is survival of the fittest. And you're only going to get the best of the best, so to speak, like rising to the top, whereas opposed to if you had classrooms where the ratio of teachers to students were much lower, as opposed to 50 to 1 sometimes, get that down more to like 20 to 1, 15 to 1, man, forget about it. You're going to have a much more educated society. So that's kind of what I mean by investing in education and having more of a focus of a 20-year outlook on education and on students, and like what is the life cycle for somebody being born in 2022? What is their life going to look like in 2042? How do we set them up for success starting from now, starting from today? Let's hop back in the comments. Christine says the coconut shrimp is good to travelers. Thank you for encouraging. Blessings, Sheikah, blessings, Omar. Thomas says, looks like travelers booked up fast for early August times, looking to stay there during that time, no problem. Yeah, that's dream weekend. You got to book almost like from last August, you kind of got to book. It's just one of the, I think it's actually the most popular week on the calendar in the off season. So unfortunately, yeah, it's going to be hard to find a room in Negril in general during independence, the first week of August. Damien asked, "Do you think the Broadcasting Commission is to be blamed for criminal activity in Jamaica? My personal opinion is they let all the chopper songs and financial exploitation of that culture." I think that's just too easy of a way to look at it, and it's just too easy to just blame the media because like when you look at the practicality, I mean, and I'm not saying they're completely blameless. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But if you look at the practicality again of how the educational system is set up here, and you look at what is actually happening in in real life, so to speak, as far as education, man, it's just it's not really a good situation. And yeah, there is influence there that is probably we probably be better without. But when you look at how the family is set up, the family system is set up here in Jamaica, in general, we don't have your traditional nuclear family here in Jamaica. You know, fathers aren't in the lives of their children. That is like the norm. And if, please correct me if I'm wrong or if you think I'm blowing smoke up everybody's butt here. I don't think I am, but there are very not I won't say very few, but it's not super common. It's not common that the father is in the lives of his children here. Unfortunately, like, that needs to be normalized. You know, to me, that is a big part of it. So I think it's just too easy to blame that, and I think communities need to do a better job of protecting and taking care of the young people and staying on top of them. And the education doesn't start and end in school. It's at home. It's in the communities and that sort of thing. So that's my take on it. Like I said, are they blameless? Absolutely not. Are they the sole reason or the majority reason? Probably not. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the village. Veronica says, by the way, your interview with German was so productive for her. I'm still waiting to hear from her. She did promise tomorrow I will hear from her. Awesome. Happy you reached out. And if you didn't see my interview with German Danzy, she was a phenomenal interview as it relates to investing in Jamaica. And she just did such an excellent job of just like I learned so much myself, and I think a lot of people who watch it as well learned a lot about the opportunities that are in Jamaica, particularly in investing in the stock market and just how much potential that there is here. And I don't think we mentioned this while we were doing the interview, which is kind of astonishing. But Jamaica was the number one stock exchange in the world 2 years in a row, I believe, the 2 years before COVID, and that is just something to think about. To be the number one stock exchange in the world, that's something that we should definitely be proud of. And also, you got to think, if you're Jamaican, that's my home country. Am I invested in there? Am I creating opportunities for myself in the number one stock exchange in the world? And yeah, if you haven't seen that interview, she drops so much knowledge during that interview, and I would encourage everybody to check it out and take a look at it. I think she does an excellent job, and she's super open and receptive. I know she's spoken to many of you who've reached out to her, and she is one of those people that you could tell from her. She's super genuine. She wants to help you to achieve your long-term and short-term financial goals. It was such a pleasure to have her on the podcast. All right, let's get some more comments here. Oh, hey, Samal, thanks for joining. James says, do you think there should be more investment in American football and basketball as opposed to track, soccer, cricket, in Jamaica, football, basketball, and money makers for NCAA? That's like big cultural questions, right? And like that's a whole other level of investment because we don't have a lot of great basketball courts here. I think about where I was growing up in New York. We have basketball courts everywhere and like they are good. Like it's so easy to find a basketball court in New York. Very, very easy outdoor. Even indoor is becoming a lot more popular. And so these facilities are readily available. Like, where are you going to practice in Jamaica? Who's going to teach them? Who's going to coach them? Same thing with football. Football, and I'm assuming you mean American football. Um, you know, that is a whole other level of investment here. I think there's a lot of natural talent. There are Jamaicans in the NFL, there's Jamaicans in the NBA as well. I think we have a lot of natural talent here. But I do think that we should be moving to more like diversifying. I even think, obviously I'm super biased when I say this, is that I think we should be investing in long distance running. We are incredibly talented at running in general, and I don't think we should narrow our focus to sprinting only. And I think if we have the right leadership, we can really, really excel at this. I mean, look at me. I'm Jamaican, and I'm doing these marathons at a very high level. Obviously, not at the pro level, but one of the fastest black people that are out there. Africans aside, that's just what it is. But I think if we can have more Jamaicans, I think we got to have more Jamaicans thinking about this career and changing the mindset of the approach to long distance running. Man, there are scholarships to be had. There's money to be made. So just that's my take on it. And long distance running is a lot cheaper than building a basketball court or finding a basketball coach. That's what my coach is online. So that's my take on diversifying our sports activities that we have that we could possibly be looking into. All right, let's get to some more questions here. It says the spiritual company Jamaican Spices recently listed on the Jamaican Junior Stock Exchange and doing well. Are you sure you're familiar with a company like this? No, I am not, Ross. Thank you for that. I will look into that. David said I listened to that German interview and I swore I was listening to myself. Hey, you must be nice at investing too. Yeah, I took the bot out. Sorry about that before. That was Chin. All right, naming some Jamaican professional athletes in the States. There was Samarado Samuels, Jerome Jordan that made it to the NBA. They played about a year and were bench level, but they made it. Yeah, it's not easy to make the NBA, man. There's only, I think, 400 and something NBA players total. And there's millions of people trying to get that job, millions of athletes. Also said the running back for the Carolina Panthers is born Jamaican as well. Yeah, this goes to show you, we're super, super talented, super talented. All right. I think we're going to start to wrap up here. I want to hold you guys up here. I do want to talk about a little bit about some future stuff coming up with the channel. So I mentioned this earlier. I'm really going to be focusing on real estate in Jamaica for the next few weeks. So I have a long production schedule for the upcoming weeks. Not this week, but next week. I'm basically going to be on the road. I'm going to be filming some real estate videos on the other side of the island with developments and also apartments. And most of these are new construction. At least I think they are. I'm going to be confirming everything tomorrow. And I'm super, super excited to share that with everybody because I know that continues to be a very high in demand topic. And that's coming out. I'll be filming that starting next week. So hopefully we get a bunch of those in. I mentioned this early on in the live, and I'm mentioning it again as a lot of people have recently joined. I tore a ligament in my left knee. I think I mentioned this weeks ago. So we're about 5 weeks out. This was from running the Boston Marathon, actually wearing that get up today. So we're in Boston in October. I knew I had a knee injury, and I finally had the time to deal with it. And so I've been putting this off for weeks. I was supposed to get a cortisone shot in my knee, decided to get PRP treatment instead, and I was able to do that yesterday. And I have documented the whole experience. I went to my doctor in Savlamar here in Westmoreland, which is about half hour, 40 minutes away. And what a PRP shot is they take the blood, they put it in the centrifuge, they separate the plasma and the blood, then they take the plasma and they inject it into my knee. And I thought it was just fascinating that I know another topic that we like to discuss and people like to hear about is what is the medical care like here in Jamaica? And this is my own personal experience. Yes, it wasn't surgery and it wasn't an emergency or anything like that, but nonetheless, I documented it. It just kind of shows that we have this cutting edge technology that is readily available here in Jamaica. And I'm going to probably be sharing that experience this week just to give an idea of the availability of this type of treatment. I also want to add is that my friend who he's an athlete or the same age, but he hurt his knee and he needs PRP shots in his knee as well. And he's in New York and he's telling me that I guess it's not covered under insurance and it's going to cost $1,500 to have the PRP shots. I didn't get the final bill yet for my knee. I will, if I don't find out today, I'm going to find out tomorrow what it's going to be. If it's a few $100, I will be very surprised. If it's a few $100, and I guarantee, I looked up videos on YouTube. It's the same exact thing. One video that I saw had the same machine and the same, I don't know what you call them, the cylinders that they have, the plasma and the blood in. Same, everything is the exact same thing. And he's paying, or would have to pay $1,500 as opposed to maybe a few $100 for me. I know I'm not paying $1,500 for tomorrow, what I got done yesterday. So I think just bringing the medical experiences of people to the table, I think that's going to be interesting. So I will have that video out this week, and I'm excited to share that with you all. And yeah, and I'm actually speaking with a young lady who actually moved here. She's a yoga instructor, so I'm interviewing her on Tuesday. I believe I'm almost certain she's from Brooklyn. So that's also another podcast I'll be sharing with everybody. So exciting stuff coming up with the channel and moving forward. Lastly, this has come up a couple of times in terms of support for the channel and doing a Patreon. So I'm hoping to launch my Patreon this week if I have time. And I thank you all for those who have inquired about this and have the willingness to support the channel. It means so much to me that you're even considering financially supporting the channel. But I will, create the opportunity, so to speak, for those who are interested in joining the Patreon. Fingers crossed, hopefully I can do that this week, and I'll be sure to let everybody know the link to that, and I'll be mentioning it in future videos as well. So thank you all for encouraging me to do this, and thank you for the support with this channel so far. I'm excited for the future of this channel and the subject matter. All right, I'm starting to wrap it here, but let's check the comments. Thomas says, look forward to real estate segments. Damien asks, are you investing in REITs? I am personally not invested in REITs, but German alludes to some for REIT investments during that interview, which I highly recommend everybody watch. And if you are looking into investing in real estate investment trust, Jamaica has a bunch of them available. King Spotlight says American football is very expensive and we need heavy corporate sponsorship to cover the 160 plus high schools in Jamaica. Basketball is huge in the corporate area. Schools in Kingston. Good to know. Yeah, American football is crazy expensive. Milton says very excited to learn. I'm very excited to learn about the real estate industry and the island. Thanks for doing this. Absolutely, looking forward to it. I'm super pumped to do it. Damien says American football costs $750,000 to implement it. Schools plus we've sent over 9 kids to college on it. And we've sent 25 last year. Super expensive. I didn't know how much it actually cost, but I knew it cost quite a penny. Gordon says, "Hi, can you say hello to Pinky Reynolds from Margaret and Gordon and Scott?" Does that count as me saying hi to Pinky? Samal says, "Jamaican #1 soccer team. Wow, Jamaica is amazing. Thank you for that. Enlightening. Absolutely." And the great says, "I will definitely be there too." All right, thank you all for joining today. I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully the sound and everything got a little bit better. I know we had some technical issues moving into this new corner location that we have here, and obviously the weather isn't so nice today, but I'm just so happy everybody was able to join. It seems like we had a fruitful discussion. Always appreciate your comments, always appreciate your questions. I'm so happy to update everybody on what's happening with the channel in the future. I'm very excited. We have a very condensed production schedule coming up in the next couple of weeks. I have the energy for it. I'm COVID free. I just need to get my knee fixed, and hopefully I won't be hobbling around later this week. But in the long run, it will be for the better. So we were going to end the live right there. Again, thank you all for hopping in and joining. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the comments. And there will be a podcast released this week for sure. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but there will be an episode coming out. And of course, next Sunday we'll be live here again. We're going to try and hit that 12 o'clock mark. I know we started half an hour late because of the wind and everything. We have some technical difficulties and have to make some last minute adjustments. So once again, thank you all for joining today and coming on the live. And I will see you next week. I'm going to leave you with the video of the super rough seas that we have here in the grill. Oh, let me see, it's just the other camera. I think this one is a little bit better. And I will leave you with that. I will see everybody next week, same time, same place. 12 o'clock. I'll do a half an hour earlier than normal schedule. And good luck to Chief and Bengal fans that are out there. Big day today. I know. Have a good Sunday, everybody.
We need a longer fire.
Mm-hmm.
We need a longer video camera fire. Just in case the one that's in the view, we can move it around. Right? Some wireless means.
Right, yeah.